All right, welcome. Today we are cracking the code on a technology that takes all that digital noise we're drowning in and turns it into something clear, something you can actually use. We're talking about text mining. I mean, you know the feeling, right? Every single day you're just bombarded. It's a constant flood of emails, news, social media, reports. It never stops. The folks who wrote the text mining handbook put it perfectly, saying the proliferation of documents available is overwhelming. It really does feel impossible to keep up, let alone find the important stuff hidden in that sea of text. So, just to give you an idea of the sheer scale we're talking about, get this. This is the number of research paper abstracts in just one medical library, PubMed. Over 12 million. Now, imagine you're a single researcher trying to find connections or spot a new trend by reading these one by one. It would be, well, pretty much impossible. Now, you might be thinking, hey, wait a minute. Don't we have search engines for this? And yeah, you're totally right. They're amazing for finding documents. But here's the catch. They kind of make the problem worse. A search engine will happily give you a list of 1 million documents. It solves the finding problem, but it creates a whole new analysis problem. Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. Imagine you had a tool that didn't just find the documents, but could actually read them, understand them, and connect all the dots for you. That's the whole promise of text mining. The best way to think about it, it's like your own personal digital detective. So what is it officially? Well, text mining is all about using automated systems to sift through these huge piles of text, what we call unstructured data, to pull out valuable stuff, patterns, and information you didn't even know were there. It's about discovering the unknown unknowns. And this, right here, this slide just nails the core difference. A web search is like asking a librarian to pull all the books on a topic off the shelf. Text mining is like having that librarian read all of those books for you and then come back and tell you about the hidden themes and subtle connections that link them all together. See the difference? It's huge. The authors of our sourcebook just say it so clearly. Text mining was literally born from this modern crisis of having way too much information and just not enough brainpower or time to process it all. It's a direct answer to that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. It all sounds incredibly powerful, right? But how does it actually happen? How does a machine go from just a bunch of messy text to a genuine insight? Well, it turns out our digital detective is very methodical. First up is pre-processing. This is like the detective bagging and tagging all the evidence at a crime scene. It cleans up the messy, raw text, gets rid of junk words, and gets everything organized so a computer can actually understand it. Next, you have the core mining. This is the actual investigation, where powerful algorithms dig through that clean data to find patterns and connections. And finally, presentation. All those amazing findings get turned into something we can easily understand. Graphs, charts, and network maps. Now, to pull all that off, our detective has a really specialized toolkit. So let's open it up and see what's inside. The first tool is called information extraction. Think of this as the detective's high-tech magnifying glass. It scans through text and automatically pulls out the key facts, the who, what, and where. It finds the names of people, companies, locations, dates, basically turning a messy paragraph into a clean, structured set of facts. Okay, next up, when you have millions of documents, you obviously need a way to sort through them. And for this, the detective uses two really cool tools, categorization and clustering. Now, they sound similar, but trust me, they do very different things. So check this out. Categorization is when you already have your folders labeled, like finance, security, customer feedback. You teach the system to automatically file new documents into the right folder. Easy enough? But clustering? That's where the real magic happens. That's like giving this system a giant, messy pile of photos from a crime scene and just saying, find the groups. It might discover piles and connections you never, ever would have thought to look for. And this might be the most powerful tool in the entire kit, link analysis. This is where the detective takes all the clues and puts them up on a giant corkboard and starts connecting everything with string. It takes all those people, companies, and places from thousands of documents and shows you the hidden networks that connect them. It reveals who's talking to whom, who's working together, all the stuff that's hidden between the lines. So that's the theory. That's the toolkit. But what does all this look like out in the real world? Well, the impact of these techniques is absolutely massive, and they're being used to solve some incredibly high-stakes problems. I mean, just think about it. In business, you can sift through thousands of financial reports overnight to spot the next big market trend before your competitors even wake up. In science, researchers are mining those millions of medical papers we talked about to find undiscovered links between genes and diseases, links that could lead to new cures. And in national security, it's used to connect tiny, scattered bits of information from all over the world to uncover and stop threats. It's incredible. When you boil it all down, that's what text mining is really about. It's like the ultimate filter for our noisy modern world. It takes all the chaotic, overwhelming mess of text and distills it down into a clear, useful signal. And as the source material says, the power here is really twofold. Yeah, it's about speed and efficiency for sure. But the really big deal? It's about perception. It gives us the ability to see things, these tiny, subtle patterns spread across millions of pages that are literally invisible to the naked eye. And that, right there, is the fundamental shift. We are moving out of the age of just retrieving information, where the whole goal was just to find stuff. And we're entering a new era of knowledge discovery, where the goal is to actually understand what it all means. So that leaves us with a pretty mind-blowing final thought. For the first time in human history, we basically have the ability to read and analyze almost everything humanity has ever written. The question isn't, can we find the information anymore? The real question is, what are we going to ask it? What new science, what hidden histories, what future secrets are just sitting there waiting to be discovered? The digital detective is officially on the case.